Hello, I am Henry Stearns, a student at MG21 Liberal Arts Charter School here in Monona, and today is April 14th, 2021. Today we are interviewing Mark Buffett about his solar energy project as part of the Sustainability Champions program, which is a collective project between MG21 and the state of Monona. Welcome, Mark, and thank you for taking time out of your day to speak with us.
Yeah, thank you, Henry. I'm glad to be here.
Is it all right if we ask you a series of questions about your project?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
All right, so the first question is, can you tell us a little bit more about your energy project? What all was involved in creating this?
Yeah, so it is a 8.235 kilowatt hour solar array. I have 27 solar panels on my roof, and they go into an inverter, and then that inverter either feeds my house, it feeds the grid, or, which is unusual, feeds a battery. So I have a battery part of my system. I'm only one of 6 residents in the MG&E district that have a battery because we're participating in a pilot program. This system will cover essentially 99% of our electricity over the course of a year. Obviously, in the wintertime, we don't have as many sun hours, so we don't produce as much. But on a sunny day in January, there were days that I was feeding the grid. It's pretty cool. The technology has got more and more efficient over the years. The cost has come down. So yeah, I'm thrilled to have this system on our house. And we've only been running it now for a little over 2.5 months.
Oh, summer's supposed to be really fun then, you know. All right, so another question I have is, what motivated you to do this?
I'll try to be short with that answer. It really goes back to the way I was brought up. My family recycled when I was a kid. My parents were always into kind of environmental issues. And then I would say over the last 15, 20 years, I've been a lot more conscious about sustainable living. 10 years ago, I first looked into solar panels, and the timing just wasn't right. The cost benefit and cost outlay didn't quite match my budget. Couple of 3-4 years ago, I looked into it again and was considering it. And then when the federal tax refunds were starting to diminish, I'm like, okay, I want to get into this now. And as it happened last summer, I was talking to a neighbor who works for MG&E, and I told her I was going to do that. And she asked me if I'd signed a contract, and I said I hadn't, which it turned out to be really good because then I was able to apply for this MG&E pilot program and got in on that. So that's the kind of the evolution, the genesis, and where we are now today.
Wow. So you said you installed this around a couple of months ago?
Yeah, it was up and running mid to late January.
Yeah. How long did the project, actually take to like put together?
Yeah, that's a good question. It took a little longer than typical because of the holiday season. They started the install just before Christmas, and then there was one issue that we had to wait on to get resolved with the subcontractor, the electrical company, and with MG&E having to shut off power so we could make the transfer. So those 2 weeks between Christmas and the end of the year, going into the beginning of the year, was kind of a delay. So most of the system was on early or late December. So that's not typical. Typically, it takes maybe 2 or 3 days to get this up and running.
So what are some benefits that you've gotten from this project? Like, have you noticed like a difference between using the solar panels versus, before?
Yeah, good question. Absolutely. The very first benefit I noticed was on sunny winter days, we were producing a lot of energy, and I learned that it's best to use that energy right into my house. So let's say it's a weekday, and I had flexibility of schedule, and we were getting a lot of solar energy. I would run my laundry. Running the furnace was not an issue because it's actually the most sustainable use of the energy, because that energy is going right from our panels into the inverter, right into our house, and I'm using that energy as opposed to it going out into the grid. Typically, I would wait till the evening when the energy rates are less to do laundry or to run the dishwasher. But so I've had to change our way of thinking. So on a sunny day, I'll run the dishwasher. I'll run our washer and dryer. I typically dry clothes outside when the weather's nice, so I'll still do that because that's another way of using solar and wind to dry your clothes without drawing energy off the grid. So that's one benefit. The second benefit, which I knew would happen, but I wasn't sure when it would, when I start monitoring my monthly electrical use and the MG&E bill. So from February 22nd through March 21st, my bill came back and I had a $65 credit.
Wow.
Essentially, from that month of service, we paid, I think, $7 for our electricity.
Wow.
Right. So I was thrilled. I knew that was going to happen. And now those kinds of things are going to increase as we go into the summer months when we have sunny summer days. And if I'm running my air conditioner, again, during the day, if the air conditioner has to kick on, I'm going to be drawing right from the sun. I'm not going to be stressing the grid out. Anyhow, so those are some of the benefits. The other benefit is just having the solar panels. They're on the front roof of the house, so it faces the street. And people walking by and they look up there and they see the panels. And if I'm out and about, they ask me about it. And then I can tell them about how the project went, what the benefits are, how it's beneficial to our Earth, and also show them where the battery is and where the inverter is, which is on the side of the house. So I find that a fun side benefit as well.
So how can people who might be interested in this get involved? Are there any resources or advice you could share?
Yeah, sure. Actually, MG&E, they are our energy company is doing a pretty good job about kind of exploring sustainable energy. They've just put a huge array out by the airport, and there's another one that's even twice as big that's going to be going online here, hopefully this summer, out by Cyene Road and Seminole Highway. So MG&E, if you go to their website, they would have resources. There are several local companies that do solar. Drew's Solar, which is a really good company. He's just a one-man show. I wasn't able to go with him because I had to go with what MG&E had contracted with, Sunbest. Sunbest is great. I love them, but they typically do bigger projects. You have Full Spectrum here in Madison. They'll come out to your house. They'll do an evaluation. They get up on your roof. They have this fancy equipment. They tell you what your solar potential is, and they can judge it throughout the whole year. They look at shade issues. If you have shade trees that might be shading part of the roof, figure out what part of the roof is best to use. I know that the Sustainability Committee in Monona, I know they've got some resources and some information on the mymonona.com. If you go to the city website and look for the Sustainability Committee, there's some resources there as well. Hopefully this story map that you're doing and the people that are sharing, we all can be resources to talk to people about it.
Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to speak with us. This is a really, really impressive project, and we really appreciate the opportunity to learn more about how you made your home energy sustainable.
Thank you, Henry. It was my pleasure. I'm really excited about this project, and I'm glad that MG21 is partnering with the city and presenting this so other people can go around and see what kind of sustainable initiatives we have going on right here in Monona.